I was never the biggest fan of the original YouTube series of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. For me, I found that while it was well made, it kinda gained the wrong audience. A show that was supposed to be a dark comedy turned into basically FNAF, with complex lore that no one actually cares about, and they were only seen as horror shorts, rather than what the original creators had in mind. The newest show, produced by Channel 4, however, is entirely different and entirely better than the original series. This show took all the best things about that original YouTube series and improves on them. The characters are much more likeable, the jokes are funnier, and the animation is more varied. The show follows that guy, and that guy. They never have official names in the show, so that's usually how they talk when referring to each other. The three are tormented by hellish demons who teach them lessons about death, jobs, transport, and more. While some would refer to this show as horror, for me, this is a comedy, and a hilarious one at that. The jokes in this show are at a rapid fire pace. There are so many little blink and you miss it jokes and references, it's hard to spot them all. And the delivery of the dialogue is done perfectly to complement this tone. Red Guy's sarcasm never failed to make me laugh. Neither did Yellow Guy's immediate obedience in any situation. The same for the Duck's hilarious lack of care for anyone but himself. Every main character has this perfect personality which gels really well with the other, leading to constant funny moments. The puppetry in this show is on another level. Every one of the characters is controlled with so much personality, you forget they're puppets at certain points, making the turns to insanity hit much harder than they did in the original shorts. The series has a lot more build-up to these moments. For example, the first episode is quite normal for most of the first half. Then these horror elements slowly creep in until there is just complete insanity. The art style of this show reminds me a lot of Smiling Friends, where there are all these clashing art styles that somehow become perfectly normal after a while. You get claymation, 2D animation, 3D renders, and much more. It really adds to the insane tone of the show. How all these wacky characters with completely different designs are constantly teaching the three random lessons about unusual things. Something this show does a lot better than most shows I've watched is foreshadowing. Every aspect seems to make sense logically, based on clues in the episode, like the accident that happens at the end of the first episode. If there was one small complaint I had about this show, it's the pacing of the horror elements. They can be quite short, happening for a second or so, and then everything will go back to normal as if nothing happened. But this joke only works if it's used infrequently. But here, it is basically the only way they use the horror elements, and it can get a little repetitive after a while. The exceptions to this is in the family episode and the finale, but most episodes don't do a good job at managing the two tones. There's really nothing else that I can say about this show other than the fact that it's amazing, and another amazing show for all four. And that is where the true issue with this show emerges, the streaming service it is on. Not only is it only available in the UK, it is packed with ads, which probably ruins the original theme of anti-capitalism. I hope this show does come out worldwide, because while it is quite easy to use a VPN to watch the show for free, it limits the amount of people who would be able to stumble onto the show, because it can now only grow through word of mouth outside the UK. Maybe something as simple as a physical release could solve this issue, but for now, it is the one thing weighing this show down from being a worldwide hit. For me, this show is an 8 out of 10. It is great, but episodes can have a bit of an odd pace at times, where the characters will stay at one place for a long time without progressing much. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you need to see this video where I review another recently released show, Cyberpunk Edge Runners.